the truth.
Welcome to Drop Me Off in Nashville with Scotty and friends.
Hey, listen, welcome to Drop Me Off in Nashville, guys. You know the show. It always starts with we just start talking before the record button usually comes on, or we know we're on the air. But we have a special guest today. This guy has been a friend of mine for over 5 years. He came to Nashville for a certain reason and ended up being in Nashville for a whole nother reason. I can't wait to introduce you to him. He's made his mark in country music in his own way. That's very impressive. And we're going to introduce him to you right after this.
Get ready. Get ready. Get ready. Ready. Here we go. Let's do this. It's showtime. Please pay attention. Stop what you're doing and welcome our guest.
Welcome back, everybody. Howard Decker. How are you, sir?
I'm doing fine. Doing fine. We're at the end of our season. Life is good.
Listen, we're in this beautiful Sonic Eden Studios in Nashville with John Albany. This place is amazing, huh?
It's beautiful. It's got a great setup.
I wish I could tell all the stories that he's actually shared with us, but we're not going to yet. But I'll tell you this. If you need a place to record, a place that feels like home, and a place that's going to take care of you, you come here, right?
I would believe so.
Yeah, John's amazing. So you're from Texas.
From Mesquite, Texas.
Mesquite. How far is that from Dallas?
Mesquite's a suburb of Dallas.
Okay, so when you were a kid, one day you said, man, I like this thing called country music. Is that right?
You know, my family influence, my dad grew up with Leon Payne. My grandfather was a fiddle player. Just wanted to play guitar like my dad. Unfortunately, that part didn't happen. Because he was a very talented guitar player. And so I always had that musical influence. My mom took me to see Cash when I was 6 years old at Panther Hall in Fort Worth. For my 16th birthday, she got me Chuck Berry and Ricky Nelson's greatest hits.
Wow.
And so
warm out.
Had the country influence from my dad, and my mom took me to shows to see people. I always knew I wanted to play.
Did you play in your hometown? Did you start a band?
You know, we had the little high school rock and roll band.
Fun. That's when it's fun.
It was fun, and back when you had band practices. And,
sure. In the garage or the basement? Where'd you guys do it?
Garages, I believe.
We have an episode, I think it's our second or third episode, that says From the Garage to Nashville. So I think every band almost starts in their garage, right?
That's probably true. That's probably where the parents wanted to put you. So eliminate the sound. But, you know, there's always that beginning point for all young artists. And I think of there's a young friend of mine who's out living the dream right now. And at 14, he came around me, and I put him around great guitar players. His name's William Bagby. And William at 17 got to play the Opry with Rhonda Vincent and Singletary. And at 18, it was Joe Diffie's guitar player until Joe passed away.
Rest in peace, Joe.
And then he played in the Randy Travis tribute show and just left because Zach Top came knocking on his door and said, I'd like for you to play guitar for me.
That's great.
So he's got the Zach Top gig, and, you know, everybody has a different path to get there. But, and it's great to, you know, when you got to be a part to help somebody along that pathway. But there's a starting point for everybody. It's just a question of how hard your focus and commitment is to get to the show. I'm not sure if a lot of people understand that, the commitment that it takes to live the dream.
It's not easy.
No.
If it is, everybody would do it, right? That's the old saying, but it's really true.
It's so true, and you have to be honest with yourself on the talent level. And, you know, Scott, you've been in town for a long time, so hundreds of people come to this town chasing the dream, and their grandmother told them they were talented, or their mother told them they were talented, and then they come to Nashville and found out how talented they really were. And but you have to have a passion and a commitment to get to the level you need to be
Exactly. So when you're back in Texas, all of a sudden one day you woke up and you said, "I'm moving to Nashville." Is that how it worked?
No,
What happened?
No, I was living in South Florida because all my exes are from Texas, and they both live in South Florida. Bless their hearts. And the words of James Gregory. And I was doing a show with Johnny Paycheck at the Collier County Fair in Fort Myers, Florida, and Johnny Barber, bless his soul.
Johnny Barber was a friend of mine.
Yeah.
He died not too long ago, and I love Johnny Barber.
Johnny Barber was a good man, and he said, "Why aren't you in Nashville?"
Oh,
And I had a cousin that lived in Springfield, and second cousin I'd met once, and my aunt said, "Hey, you have a cousin that lives in Nashville." So I moved to Nashville to pursue the dream because I didn't want to be the person that said, I had the talent, but I didn't go.
yeah, what was the dream? What was it? What was in your mind that you thought, or where your trajectory was going?
I wanted that record deal like every other young artist in this town, and I did. I've always been a guy who went after whatever I wanted, and made the commitment to do what it takes. And I didn't want to be that guy who came here 2 years and went back home. Well, I could have got there, but I didn't get the break. No, I was willing to stay committed to the dream. And
if there's one thing you can tell a new artist that got here, our show is called "Drop Me Off in Nashville," and the whole trajectory is that when you get here, you have to find that path, and when you're on that path, you have to work, right? It does not come easy.
You have to find that path. You have to open new doors. You have to have an open mind. You have to get out and meet people and learn from the veterans, that people that have been here and that can help guide you and point you in a direction, and have an open mind.
Yeah,
and
do a lot of listening.
A lot of listening. And, I remember Dennis Morgan told me when I was young and in town that, you don't have to be George. You don't have to be Garth or Keith Whitley. Very few people are going to have that opportunity. But there's a niche, and you can make money in this business. And, a friend of mine played for Boxcar for years. Chuck Jennings, bless his soul, just passed away. And Box always told him that it's show business. Take care of the second word, you get to keep doing the first.
Right.
And you have to realize it's a business. As musicians, we all want to just go play and sing our song.
Right.
But you have to run it as a business to succeed. So you need to learn the business end, and you need to focus on toning your craft so that it's at a level that when it's your turn to shine, when it's your turn to perform, that you know your part and you can go out and kick your part.
Well, that's the whole thing of it. And in Nashville, there's a lot of noise is what I call it. I've always called it noise since show one. Everybody has their own opinion. Everybody has their own thought process of how things go down in Nashville. But realistically, we all have our own path and what that path is going to be. When I came to town, I knew I wasn't a singer, but I wanted to go into a studio and record songs, so I knew how the process worked. I knew I was going to go into management, but I needed to know, like a janitor. I got to be able to sweep the floor before I can walk on the floor, right? And so I would learn all these different aspects of the music industry because I knew, how can I manage artists if I didn't get what they go through, the stress, the recordings, the bus, all of it. It's a lot. When you first got to town, did you have a few gigs that you found right away that you started playing at?
I started playing at the Long Hollow Jamboree. That's probably the first show I did, and it turned out I met Vassar Clements there. Vassar would go over there and play on Thursday nights, just sit in, because he stayed up at night because he was always on the road every weekend, being the superstar player Vassar Clements was, and quite the mentor. And, you get out and you don't realize that there's so much just talent in this town. And I think you'd find this true, Scott. When you come to this town, you're here a couple years and as an artist, and then you go back home and you sit in with that band you thought was really good, or you go and see the band you thought was really good. And on your way back to Nashville, you go, oh, those guys weren't that good.
They were not that good.
Because I'd not been exposed to the playing level that is in this town.
It's no disrespect. It's just the truth.
It's just
a different level, right?
It's a different level of players. And then when you've honed your craft and you're at that same level and you have their respect, of players, then you know that you've worked hard and that you've achieved some success. And whether fate draws you in that right line where you have that right door open for you, you have that right financial backer that
Important.
that gets you there, because there's no deals giving based on talent.
No.
It has to be the talent level and the financial package behind you for you to achieve a stardom level. Every artist out there had somebody behind them financially getting them there.
I'm managing an artist, a Billboard artist. He has 3 Billboard charts right now. We're on our 3rd one with a song called You and Me in Miami. His name is Michael Gillis. And Michael, he is in his career and he's self-funded. And there is a lot of funds that go out the door to get him to where you have to go. And there's a lot of hoops that he's been jumping through that are sometimes very frustrating. And then we quickly are realizing some of the people are not so honest. And what they say they're going to do is far from what they even can or attempt to do. And so that process also is there where you have to filter those people out. But I want to go back to you because this is really important to me. I started dating your wife, not your wife. Sorry, Glenda, I love you. I started dating your niece about 10 years ago. And I didn't know that you were a performer. Now, we went to holidays together and we visited about music a little bit. But then I saw you perform in a town called Springfield, Tennessee, I think it was. You were playing in a bar up there. What was that bar called?
Probably Backroads.
Backroads. I was going to say Crossroads. But I walked in, I sat down, I looked at the stage and I said, that's George Strait. And my wife now says, no, that's my Uncle Howard. I said, he sounds like him. He looks like him. That guy is great. And we didn't leave that entire night because I was so mesmerized. Your mannerisms, how you present yourself, how you conduct yourself, how you sing, your band. It was amazing. So that brings me to all of a sudden one day you're doing George Strait shows and you're extremely successful at this. What happened? How did that all come about, Howard?
You know, people had always told me that we look alike, and I just told them what's the Texas thing. We weren't worth much. We could all sing a little bit. And we were at a wedding several years ago, and for a drummer, Josh Miller, and my wife said that I think that's Jason Aldean. And I said, no, that's that look-alike he plays for. And we met Greg West, the ultimate Aldean, and Chad Collins, who does a Luke Bryant tribute show, was there, and they went on and on how much George and I looked alike. And Greg said, hey, have you ever thought of doing George? I said, no, not really. I've always done my own thing. And he said, well, here's a 6-figure amount that I made, and if you're interested, call me, and I'll help you get started. So I called him, and we went out, and I sat in Ohio and Georgia, and the crowd really enjoyed it. And the managers, one of them wanted to book me on the spot, and he helped me get started, helped me get my foot in the door in the tribute show market. And then I met Don Suter, Kid Kentucky, the Kid Rock look-alike, Kid Kentucky and the American Badass Band. And Don's been a true blessing. He's a wonderful guy. He's been Greg had been there 11 years. Don's been doing it 6 years, and very successful. And they have a great show if you ever get a chance to see them, if you like that style of music. And he hooked me up with Brian Bailey, his drummer, booking agent, runs the Nashville website design, worked for CMT for 12 years. And so
I talked with Brian. Nice guy.
Yeah, Brian's so educated, so smart. I told him he's the smartest drummer I've ever met.
Yeah.
But he has been a true blessing. And then I have a booking agent in Decatur. We had a successful first year. We did 11 shows our first year. We're doing 20 shows this year.
Hang on a second. I want to ask you about something. Okay. First show. Remember it? You had to put a set list together with a guy by the name of George Strait who has, 60-some number ones?
Yeah.
And you have to get that down to 20 songs? I don't know what was your set, hour and a half, 90 minutes? How'd you pick them?
Well, it's 90 minutes. We probably play about an hour and 40. And I've had people, one of my bass players came to me and said, man, you do a lot of songs. I said, it's George Strait. I think I owe it to the crowd to give them as many songs as I can fit in that time. And he said, yeah, but you're doing 27 songs.
Wow.
And I said, yeah, but I feel like I owe it to the crowd. And at that time, he was playing for Daryl Worley. And I said, how many does Daryl do? He goes, oh, Daryl does about 19. I said, there's so many great songs. I think there's standards that you have to do.
Sure.
You have to do The Fireman. You have to do Cross My Heart. You have to do Amarillo, Unwound.
So your first set list, you really just started writing down going, I have to do this one. Well, I have to do this one.
Right.
And now all of a sudden you're
Next
at
thing you
20
know,
going, you're going, wait a minute.
No, you're at 40, cutting back down. And as we enter getting ready for next year, we've already started working on that set list, and we're already pulling out 4 songs and putting 4 new songs
But
in.
here's the thing. You can't do 2 hours. You have to stay to the minute, hour and a half, hour and 40 minutes. Your voice just ain't going to take it, right? And you're not going to do George justice anymore.
Well, the thing is that most of our shows are one-off shows, so we do some routing dates, but most of them are one-offs, and so vocally it's not that strenuous and stuff. So we've had a few venues that have asked us to play 2 hours, and they'll split the show an hour, take a break, come back, do another hour. But I find that the hour and a half, hour 40 show gives it's long enough. After that, people will need to get up and go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
But vocally, I can handle it. But an hour and a half, people, they're getting to hear George Strait, and you could sing all night long, and they would be thrilled.
I'll tell you, we saw you in Florida. We took a trip over. We drove a couple hours to come over and saw you. I think it was called Little Nashville or something. Down in
Orange
Florida.
Blossom Opry.
Right. Wonderful show. Sawyer Brown guy works out there with a guy by the name of Mark Oliveris, was good friends of him, who's also a friend of John Albany here at Sonic Eden Studios.
Yeah, Mark's a great guy.
Mark's a great guy. And what I learned is when I sat in that audience and I watched you, I think I counted a 7-piece band.
6.
You guys were very tight and very, very good. It was a great show. And when I'm out there, they don't know that we're related or friends, right? So I'm hearing the people around me going, wow, this is fun. This is great. He's a good singer. I'm having a fantastic time because let's face it, most people are not going to get the opportunity to see George Strait. So you're giving him something very special. I think that's pretty awesome, Howard.
That's the way I feel about it. I shake every hand and I give everyone a picture, and people always come and say, hey, this is the closest to George we're ever going to get, because George is not going to be in their small town.
He's not. There's no way.
And how much longer George plays, who knows? He did 5 shows this year, did 7 each of the last 2 years, 9 the year before that. But one of the unique things about our show is that we have Mike Kennedy's drumhead from the Cowboy Rides Away tour, Mike Snare, that he played on all the Strait shows. His wife, Margaret Kennedy's a dear friend of the show, and she gave us that and donated that for the show. Everyone knows Mike unfortunately lost his life 7 years ago in a car wreck. Mike was there 30 years. And it's wonderful to have a piece of George's show in our show.
Absolutely.
And the crowd is very appreciative of that, and it reminds them all of how precious life is. And she had gotten a job promotion that day and called him, and he didn't answer.
Rest in peace, sir. That's terrible.
And what the in-town top session drummer, Mike Kennedy, and a great guy. Margaret's oldest daughter came to our show Saturday night, and it was her first time to come because she had a hard time dealing with the loss of her stepfather. And I told her the story of how Mike was such an outstanding guy, and I'd called him once and said, hey, I've got a gig tonight, can you make it? He goes, oh brother, I would, but we're here at Texas Stadium, we're fixing to walk out on the stage.
I can't help you tonight.
Can't help you tonight, but can you call me some other time? But I think,
speaking of that, you were at a stadium and you got mobbed.
Correct.
And people just couldn't get over it. It was
it's happened a couple times. We were in Kansas City. Margaret called Tom, his former road manager, who passed away last year, and we went to Kansas City, and probably I wore the hat. About first time I went to the restroom, about 15 people stopped me. About 500 people came down the aisle for pictures. And the second time, a lady stopped and asked for a picture. And I turned around, I had a horde of women on top of me and a little bitty police officer over here trying to get them off, security guard. Then I look over here comes the SWAT team, and they come over and pull me out to a safe zone area. So that was my first experience getting mobbed, being George. And then
so can you imagine some of these artists, they have a life like that every day?
I know, and people don't understand that. And they just want to be fans, they just want a picture, but they don't understand
it. There's some private space a little bit here.
There is. And
you experienced it. I mean, you had to be hauled off by police officers just to stop the madness. Correct.
And in Nashville, we went the day that it rained, and Margaret called Alan, his bus driver, and he picked us up, and we went to the pre-show party and met Huckabee. Him and I have some mutual friends. Met Bobby, who took Mike's place. And when we left, we met the sound engineer. They left early because they knew the rain was coming. And when we went upstairs, the lady stopped and said, "Oh, my brother's George's sound engineer." He said he finally got to meet George today. And I told him that wasn't George. And we went down on the field, and every time we stood up, everybody came for pictures. There's pictures of me walking through the stadium crowd. Everybody's got their cameras out. And George is watching Chris Stapleton, and then security threatened to kick us out because people wouldn't stop coming. And then there was a torrential downpour. And no, we have not met yet, but Alan did text Margaret the next morning and say, "I'm sorry about the rain. I was going to get y'all on the bus." So I feel that we'll meet somewhere down the line.
When the time is right.
When the time is right.
You know, and it's almost better that way because it's supposed to happen when it's supposed to happen. Hey, listen, you guys, we're going to take a short break. We're going to come back, and we're going to talk to Howard about his wife and how she has adjusted to this new star fame of her husband's.
When music feels real, you don't just hear it, you feel it. That's the sound of Michael Gillis, one of today's fastest rising voices in adult contemporary music.
You walk in a dark room like crystal candlelight.
Michael's single, "Working with the Rain," stormed up the Billboard Adult Contemporary charts, debuting at number 21 and climbing to number 13. Then came "Can't Hide Beautiful," holding steady in the Billboard Top 40 and streaming in over 30 countries. And his breakout hit, "You and Me in Miami," reached number 2 on the Euro Indie chart, proving his music connects across oceans and generations. With heartfelt lyrics and that unmistakable voice, Michael Gillis is redefining modern pop country crossover. Authentic, soulful, and radio ready. Stream Michael Gillis on Spotify, Apple Music, and everywhere you listen. And follow at Michael Gillis Music on all socials. Because when the voice is this honest, you just can't hide beautiful.
My grandmother grew up in Leonard. And Chuck Jennings, I mentioned earlier, Eric used to promote him as a DJ in Greenville, Texas. Then I found out that Eric, my friend Jerry Webb, and his wife, we all went to the Greenville Super Bowl Speedway.
Eric is another. We're talking about Eric. How do you say his last name?
Eric Blankenship.
Blankenship. I saw him play one time. He said he won some contest down in Texas, and he's like, "I'm going to go to Nashville. I'm going to be a star." And now the guy's running the most successful bus company in this town. The most well-respected man in this town, and he's a heck of a good singer.
He's a really, really good singer.
And you're saying he plays at the local on Tuesdays,
Tuesday
right?
nights in Hendersonville, and it's a who's who's in the crowd.
Really?
We're talking the Isaacs, Ben Isaacs is there, Mike Rogers is
they're all
there.
that way.
Jimmy Fortune's there.
Oh, I love Jimmy Fortune.
What a voice.
Unbelievable.
And, and the great thing about Jimmy is not only is he the ultimate tenor voice, he's just a humble, dear, sweet guy.
And every time I've run into him, I say the same thing. I don't know anybody who can sing better than you, sir. That's what I always say to him.
But he's so respectful of your talent if you can hang also. But he's a great guy. But Jeff's got a great thing going over there, and Janae, George's fiddle players, there all the time. They were just there Monday night. Mike Rogers and Ben Isaacs and her and another young gentleman, I can't think of his name.
But the local Hendersonville is now the new...
it's the click place.
That's the place.
To be, and the band's wonderful. Tom,
nice sound out of there. It's not too loud.
No.
The food is great. The service is fantastic. It's a great little bar.
And the food's reasonable.
It's reasonable
and
priced.
It's high quality.
That's it.
Steve Ledford, one of my bass players, plays for Eric over there and the Designated Drinker Band. Tom Killen plays for me, 30 years with George Jones. Wonderful stories.
Yeah. He's that steel guitar player, right?
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
And his son is the famous golf coach, Matt Killen.
Unbelievable. And he's taking care of Tom Brady's kids, I think, right?
Yeah, Brady's kids
get golf
take lessons from him. Tiger Woods, Justin Rose, Justin Leonard. He's the swing coach. He's doing very, very well.
So I want to switch gears. This is important for me to talk about because behind every man is a good woman, right?
Correct.
And you have a great one. Glenda is your beautiful wife.
Hardest working person I've ever met in my life.
She is about the sweetest thing you can ever imagine, and she's a big supporter of yours.
She is, and she makes everything function. Of course, she's so organized and on top of everything, and the hardest working person I've ever met. And she loves the music. We met at a gig I was playing, and the two funny stories about that. I asked her out. She told her mother she was going to go down to this gig, and if I didn't ask her out, she wasn't going back. And I asked her out, and she turned me down. It was her
what? I didn't know that.
Was her daughter's birthday.
Oh, okay. Well, that did make sense. Then.
And then next
Ashley.
week, and then
Sweet Ashley.
next week, I took her to this hole in the wall gig that had rooms upstairs. She goes, I wonder why they're going upstairs, and we figured out why they were going upstairs. But it's been I think at first an adjustment for her, the George situation, because at the regular gig you don't.
Yeah, you're going to the bar.
George,
now you're
attention.
on a bus. Yeah,
and then back then I always had a mustache, and so.
That's right, you did have a
and
mustache.
So some people saw the George thing, and when I shaved it off, they realized how much we both look alike. And so that's, there's been a time or two I thought she was going to take somebody down when they got a little too carried away. But she enjoys it, and
it's all out of love, you know that.
Yeah.
What does she think about getting on this bus? Because she's been with you to a couple of shows, right?
She's been to every show except North Dakota, because there was something about North Dakota in December that she said no.
Good for her. I don't blame her.
I think it was 1 degree when we got there. But she's gone to every show. She handles our merchandise, and that's her money because she handles the accounting work and all of our merchandise. And but I think she really enjoys it. We were out last Monday night at a fair buyers convention, and she was came to me and said, "I'm very proud of you." So
that's very sweet. So now that you're doing all these George Strait songs, right? You know how an artist has to do these songs over and over and over again? Well, you're in the position now where you're starting to do the same songs over and over and over again. Do you ever get tired of them?
No, because there's such great music. It's the best country music in the world. And the thing is, you can always take one out and put another number one hit there. That's the thing. And people always tell you, if you're going to have a hit song, make sure it's a song you like for the next 30 years, because that's what you're going to be singing.
You're going to be singing it, yeah.
And with George, there's more than 5 number ones.
Right.
There's more than 10. There's 60.
Yeah, it was funny when we were talking about the set list and how this year you're going to pull some and put some other ones in, but there's just songs you have to leave in that set list no matter what you're doing, right?
Oh, sure. You have to do Cross My Heart. You have to do Amarillo by Morning. When Did You Stop Loving Me? Check Yes or No. Cowboy Rides Away.
Right.
Troubadour. I find that
Do you do this where you take them on this emotional ride where you do a few honky-tonkers and a couple of ballads and just to keep it going?
Try to keep it, kick it, bring it down, kick it.
Because you're not playing Broadway.
No.
You're playing the show that you're tributing
The man.
George Strait.
The man.
The man.
And we promote George in our show, and I tell people that we're not an impersonation show, we're a tribute show. And it just so happens that him and I look alike.
Right.
So that's an added bonus for the show. But there's so many great songs, and you just go on and on. I think, we're looking at adding King of Broken Hearts. What a great song.
Right.
And Marina Del Rey, which we haven't done, and a few other ones. And just pull a couple out, put a couple in.
Right.
But we do a lot of songs, but I feel like you owe it to them. They're paying their good hard money. I think it's one of the reasons why tribute shows have become so popular. A lot of people ask that question, why? And I think because it costs so much to see the
main artist
today.
Parking, dinner.
Well, they're not
$500,000 out.
They're not making money off record sales, off CD sales.
Right.
They're making practically nothing off streaming sales. They're making their money live, and I'm happy for them. But if it costs $300 to sit in the nosebleed at a stadium, that's $600.
Right.
For your sweetie, a T-shirt, dinner, parking, and then come see us for $25 to $50, $75.
Yeah. Big difference.
Big difference for the working individual, and they can get up close and personal too.
So how do I get a hold of you? I want to book you in Minnesota, Iowa, California. What do I do? Where do I go?
You go to www.straightcountrytribute.com and
straightcountrytribute.com. Okay.
And then my management will reach out to you.
So is there like a generic way that they can send in an email that says?
Correct. It's all listed on our website.
And then you'll start the booking process with your management team through there.
Right.
What do you got coming up this next year? You booked solid or what?
We booked Guilford, Connecticut the other night. We're in Crossville. We're in Hodgensville, Kentucky. We're in Talladega, Alabama. A little bit of across the United States. This year we've been in Texas, we've been in San Diego, we've been in Ohio, Illinois, Indiana, Florida, across the United States, and I think it's just going to continue to grow.
Yeah, and you're mostly on the bus, right?
Well, definitely mostly on the bus. As we were talking earlier, the more you deal with airlines and airports, the more you're going it's going to cost me more, but I think I'll just ride on the bus.
Right.
And, funny part is somebody mentioned to me earlier, she's my number one fan. She likes John Foster, the new kid off the show, one of the TV reality shows. And he'd made a comment to her that he'd bought his first bus. And I'm going like, very few people buy them anymore. They lease them from Eric.
Right.
Because it's not a question if they're going to break down. It's when they're going to break down.
And you better have it at least.
And that's the thing, because it's not a $500 fix. It's a $5,000 fix.
Easily.
Or a $10,000 fix. One of my friends in town runs a couple buses, and he had two buses break down the same week, $10,000 a piece.
Wow.
Repair. You've got to get them fixed.
Yeah, you got to get to the show, too. You have to make that date.
You got to get them home. You have to have them on the road so that they're making you money.
Well, listen, I want to tell you thank you for coming in today.
Oh, it's my privilege.
You've built a career on your terms and how you wanted it, and you came to Nashville for a certain reason, and you ended up doing something pretty special. Being somebody that can imitate and sing and tribute a man like George Strait is very impressive. And I thank you for the fans. I can tell you that because I heard it in the audience when I sit out there and I watch you play and perform. They're very proud of what you do, and I am too, and I can't thank you enough for you coming in today.
Well, I appreciate it. I have a passion for what I do. Rule number one is I live to play. Rule number two is my 5 favorite words: show me to the stage.
Show me to the stage.
Because I love to go play, and it's a total commitment. When it's showtime, I'm going to the stage. And Dennis Morgan said, you you just got to find your niche. It took me 25 years,
But you found it, Howard.
but I found my niche, and it's.
I mean, you quit your other job. You are
Correct.
doing this full time. You're very successful with what you're doing. I'm proud of you, man.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It's great. Thank you for having me on the show.
One more time, what's that website?
It's www.straightcountrytribute.com. You can sign up and register. You'll be able to find out where all of our shows are across the United States next year.
I need you to do me one more favor, okay?
Sure.
Imagine if this whole room was full of dreamers, kids who just came to town, and you could tell them one thing. What would you tell them?
Stay committed to your dream. Be honest with yourself. And then stay committed to your dream.
You have to, right?
You have to work hard.
And do what you say you're going to do, because it goes a long ways.
It's so true. Get out, meet people, but be honest with yourself. Do I have the talent to make it? Not what grandmom or mom or your favorite aunt tells you. What do other people say when you're out there performing?
That's me. I go in the crowd and I listen. Like next week, I'm bringing in this guy by the name of Scott Collier. He's one of the biggest stars to me in Nashville, Tennessee. And I don't even know how to explain him or how I'm going to do this interview next week with him, but I'll tell you, I can't wait to get his wisdom, because he lives this every single day, and he found his path. And I think that is very important for these kids to realize that when you come to Nashville, you might make it, but you might not, but you might find another path that you just be just as fulfilled and be just as successful.
You know, that's so true. And my guitar player is a very famous guitar player here in this town. He's been here 40 years, played for Vern Gosdin, The Voice, for 16 years, Eddie Raven, a couple, 25 on the Opry with Jim Ed Brown, and Mike Baker. He's a top-of-the-line session guitar player. But he said when he was not on the road with Vern, he worked at the Palace for 19 years, and he said, I saw so many great singers that came to town that never got a deal. He said, every Wednesday they'd pick a local artist. And he said, I remember the week we picked Ricky Van Shelton, and he was so excited to get to play with the Palace Band. He wasn't a star yet.
Right.
And he said, as sad as it is, there were 10 other guys that outsang Ricky Van Shelton.
Right.
Great voice. He said they never got a deal.
Imagine that.
And he said Alan was working up at the post office. Randy was in the kitchen washing dishes.
Randy Travis.
And yes,
Yeah.
and they all became stars,
Yeah.
and those 10 other guys didn't. That's how
Unbelievable.
tough it is in this town.
That's how tough it
to
is
be
in this
lucky
town.
enough to get a break. But you can find your niche. You can make money in this town.
For sure.
You just have to find your niche and be honest with yourself.
Right, that's exactly right. Hey, Howard, thank you so much for coming in today. You all been listening to Drop Me Off in Nashville. We're at the incredible Sonic Eden Studios again. Check it out if you ever get a chance. Look them up online. John Albany is a fantastic human being. And Howard Decker, thank you for what you do, sir.
Thank you, Scott.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for joining Scotty and Friends. Don't forget to like and subscribe to join the Drop Me Off in Nashville family. Engineering and production provided by Podcast Production Music.
Well, Nashville, can't thank you enough for all the time.
Y'all come back now. Here?